it's a lot to process from the sound that we just heard. I mean, Mark, you get the excitement of the men's Money in the Bank match, Drew McIntyre grabbing that briefcase. And I know this sounds crazy, a bit of a surprise, because we all thought we were going to see Punk at that moment to screw over Drew McIntyre and that we might get somebody else win that Money in the Bank briefcase. But it was Drew McIntyre, and then we see the failed cash-in later on in the night during the World Heavyweight Championship match. But, Mark, a lot during both those matches at Money in the Bank.
What a damn match. I mean, the back and forth between all the guys, everything making sense. Bully and I talk about this all the time. To be in suspended belief, everything has to be in line with each other and make sense. Everything makes sense. Now, you get to the finish, and there's a little hiccup. But outside of that, I was 100% down on everything. Dave, what did the hiccup in the finish say to you?
Well, before we get to that, before we get to what happened during the World Heavyweight Championship match, I want to talk about the men's ladder match first. And I want to take it one step at a time. So Bully, were you surprised at all that Drew McIntyre won that Money in the Bank ladder match on Saturday?
No, I wasn't surprised. I mean, we talked about who we thought was going to win. I think you picked Carmelo, right?
I thought it was going to be Carmelo Hayes. I did.
I went outside of the box also. I picked L.A. Knight. But what they did with Drew really, really worked, and I liked the way they went into it. I liked the way the last 2 minutes of the men's Money in the Bank went, because they set the tone with the finish for what was going to happen later on in the night with the cash-in. I had zero problem with Drew winning. And now Drew is so disgruntled, he's so mad, he's so pissed off that the future of Punk and Drew is just about, I mean, we're there. It's there. The table is set. We're there. We know what we're getting. Drew did what he did to Punk. Punk has reseated Drew, and now we're ready for these matches.
It's so funny, Bully, because I think I'm at the point now, and I already was, but now I'm definitely on side Drew. Now there's no denying the fact that I'm on side Drew in this conversation between him and Punk. And, it's still CM Punk to me. I don't know why Michael Cole was saying Phil, but Bully, how is this going to end up? I know at some point Drew and CM Punk have to get into the ring, and maybe it's at SummerSlam, but
I hope so.
I mean, at some point, I don't know. For me, I hope Drew McIntyre kicks CM Punk's ass. And another reason why is from what I saw on Saturday night at Money in the Bank. Am I wrong here?
Right now, this entire story and angle is being built on sheer disdain for one another. These guys do not like one another. Drew hates Punk, and Punk is doing a phenomenal job of getting under Drew's skin. And we saw afterwards on social media, Drew threw a fit, destroyed the set, went crazy. I don't know if they're going to air that tonight on Monday Night Raw to bring everybody up to speed. But what they're doing is working really, really well. Punk is really effing with Drew McIntyre. I mean, he had the opportunity again. I thought they could have brought people a little closer to the edge, but they decided to go the way they did. But it's working. I mean, what do you want to see right now? And we talked about this last week. We did the comparison of Priest and Seth and Drew and Punk. What match would you rather see? It's Drew and Punk all day long.
Yeah, but what they were able to manage to do on Saturday, Mark, is they threw Seth back in to the conversation. And we're going to get into the faux pas in just a second. But I mean, Seth was almost as mad as Drew McIntyre when that match was over on Saturday.
Yeah, and they also painted the picture that Punk is not without fault. Punk is starting to become an asshole.
Yes. Thank you.
Like, it don't matter how much Punk, man, thus far, Punk could go take a shit in the ring and everybody would cheer. But I think now, the way the picture's being painted, Punk, we're a little tired of your shit. The fans are starting to rumble. Like, hey, man, let that dude live. Like, why do you take it upon yourself to make his life miserable when he's not even thinking about you? All he's thinking about is winning the title, and every time he gets his hands, you pull the carpet out from under him, Charlie Brown.
And you know what? It's at the point now that Punk has fucked over Drew so many times. I kind of forget why Punk is mad at Drew to begin with.
He blew out his tricep.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, I know he said it was on purpose. That happens. There's no doubt about it. But my God, I think he's receded, excuse the term, I think he's receded Drew enough at this point. Now he's just being an asshole.
He's effing with him because he can.
Yep.
And CM Punk is smaller than Drew McIntyre. So when they get in the ring, Drew McIntyre is going to have a physical advantage over CM Punk. CM Punk needs to get into Drew McIntyre's head if he's going to have a shot in hell of defeating him. And right now, CM Punk is in Drew McIntyre's head.
There's no doubt about it. And to your point, Mark, I love what the WWE is doing right now, because you had to have watched the post-show afterwards to see this happen. Drew came on the set. Adam Pearce comes out. He's trying to restrain Drew McIntyre, and he eats Drew McIntyre's elbow to the face. And because of everything that happened, first of all, he fined CM Punk. He fined Drew McIntyre. But because of that elbow, Drew McIntyre, and we found this out through social media, and we're going to hear more about it tonight on Monday Night Raw, now Drew McIntyre has been suspended indefinitely. And then Drew went after Adam Pearce on social media this morning. And now Adam Pearce declared this morning on social media that he's doubled the fine for Drew McIntyre. So now it's like Drew McIntyre is at the point. It's not just CM Punk that's fucking me. Now everybody's fucking with me. And Seth is angry too. So this is one hell of a story that the WWE is telling with everybody involved.
Unbelievable, man. I'm a Punk fan, and I'm just tired of his shit right now. I always talk about mind your business. Bully, our whole careers of you knowing me, have you known me to be a shit disturber?
Nope.
And I always tell people, everybody that comes in the business under me, keep your mouth shut and mind your business. Don't get into nobody else's shit. Don't take a side. Just like the company is nonpartisan, you are nonpartisan to other people's affairs. Don't choose a side. Because you never know who's on that other side. Brock might be on the other side. Taker might be on the other side. Then what? Keep your mouth shut, mind your business. Punk is not doing that. Damn. And if I call him and say something, then I'm being a hypocrite.
Well, I think it goes back to what you said, that I don't think Punk gives a shit about that world championship. I think Punk all he cares about is getting, as you said, Bully, in the head of Drew McIntyre. But now he's fucking with two guys that want that world championship. One in Drew McIntyre and one in Seth Rollins. Because coming out of that match, Bully, Seth Rollins was just as pissed as Drew McIntyre.
It's interesting if Punk were to go stand in the middle of the ring and go, hey, Seth, you hate me so much. Hey, Drew, you hate me so much. But I got 15,000 people in this arena who love me. It's really weird. I don't think as many people are turning on Punk. I think they're enjoying Punk screwing with Drew McIntyre.
I agree. I don't think there's anything that Punk can do to Drew McIntyre where the fans are going to turn their back on CM Punk. It's just the way that it is.
It almost
now, this is the way I feel
very Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner-esque right now. Like Punk.
Well, thank you. Because in those cartoons, I rooted for Wile E. Coyote. I felt bad for Wile E. Coyote.
Right now, Drew McIntyre is Wile E. Coyote.
Yep.
And CM Punk is the Roadrunner. And the Roadrunner always got the best of Wile E. Coyote. And I'm not so sure that if McIntyre gets his hands on Punk, if people are going to care. They might even boo. Despite the fact that he would be right because they're not at eye for an eye right now. Punk has taken both of Drew's eyes and a nut.
Y'all both are wrong.
It's
okay.
Y'all are so wrong. Wile E. Coyote went to Acme and to find that anything that he could to disrail, interrupt, kill the Roadrunner. And the shit backfired. Y'all are wrong.
I think what we mean is the Roadrunner just keeps getting the best of Wile E. Coyote no matter what Wile E. Coyote tried.
To the
They
point,
just
Mark.
said he cheered for him.
I did, because it got to the point where Bully's right. It got to the point where the Roadrunner would get over him every single time. It got to the point where I just finally wanted to see Wile E. Coyote get his hands around the neck of the Roadrunner. I would pay money. I would buy a ticket. I would fly out there to see Drew McIntyre get his hands on CM Punk. Because I tell you right now, if Drew McIntyre got his hands on CM, he would fuck CM Punk up. He would fuck him up. Fuck him up.
And what would be the response of the people?
They would boo. And you know what? He's so far. Here's the thing. He's so far into Drew's head that Drew would fuck it up. Like he would trip on his own feet. Or something would happen where CM Punk would get away. That's how deep into his head he's at.
There are little things
hilarious.
There are little things that CM Punk does that resonate with people that I don't even think fans realize how much it truly resonates with them. Sitting on the announce desk Indian style. Standing on the announce desk. The eating of the donuts at the press conference. All of these little things that Punk does endear himself to the crowd. As a matter of fact, Paul, throw up a poll for the next 2 hours of the show. Whose team are you on as of right now? Team Punk or Team Drew? I'd be very interested to see what the nation has to say.
Well, I got to say this, and Sam Roberts just texted me, and I don't know if Sam wanted me to say this on the air or not, but I am because he makes a great point. I am so blinded by this story that there's things that I'm blind to and I'm just forgetting. And Sam Roberts is listening right now. He's like, what the fuck, Dave? Drew is literally wearing Punk's family bracelet. Drew evoked Punk's wife and dog in his promo just a couple weeks ago. Said he was going to win with Punk's family with him wearing the bracelet. And then you're saying Drew didn't do anything? Like, you're right. You're absolutely right, Sam. Drew did, but it's almost like I feel like Drew is doing that to try to play catch up and response to what Punk has done to him. That's why this is where we get the crate of the Acme goods. This is the Wile E. Coyote super genius. He's just doing it. He's trying to play catch up. He's trying to respond because Wile E. Coyote is just not that bright when it comes to the Roadrunner. He just can't catch up to the Roadrunner. So Mark and Bully, I almost feel like Drew has done this because he's trying to play mind games too because Punk is winning this war so far.
And every time Punk wins the war, he has this shit-eating grin on his face as if he's going, me, me.
Stop buying that cheap-ass Acme Dynamite. How about that?
I'm on Team Drew. And I know, and here's the other thing, I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one on Team Drew. Fucking guy wins the Money in the Bank ladder match. He holds the briefcase overhead. Ballsy move, by the way, going for the triple threat and not waiting till the match is over. Ballsy move. Because maybe not the brightest move, but a ballsy move by Drew McIntyre. I don't
think I would have chosen that moment in time to go for the championship.
Probably not the best move by Drew McIntyre when it's all said.
But he was tired.
Who was tired?
He had it. Priest.
Who was tired? And Priest was tired, but why would you? But you're cashing in during the match. Now it makes it a triple threat. So now you got two opponents that you have to wrestle. What do you think? He's so far in his head.
But one opponent was outside the ring. Seth Rollins was bumped outside the ring, so he did get himself involved with Priest, thinking he could take advantage of that moment.
All right.
There you go.
Let's get into the big faux pas that happened during that match, because we have to address it. We have to address it.
You want to do it now, or you want to take a break first?
Let's do it now.
Okie dokie.
All right. The non-3 count. The non-3 count. What the fuck? What happened? I need to know. You guys are the performers. You guys are the wrestlers. Both of you are Hall of Famers. Both of you know. What happened there and why? And there was any way to fix it. Because to me, watching it, that was the worst case scenario. Was it Rod Zapata was the referee that was in the ring, right?
Yep.
Rod Zapata?
Yep.
The non-3 count. Damian Priest, he's out. He's down. Both his shoulders are clearly on the mat. 1, 2, stop. No 3 count. To the point where I thought, guys, that a member of the Judgment Day must have pulled Zapata's leg. Not only was he the arena lights went on, thinking that the match was over, because people thought the match was over. Now, we talk about CM Punk getting involved. We talk about Drew McIntyre getting screwed. The guy coming out of that match that was fucked more than anybody is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins should be your world heavyweight champion this morning. We should have started the show talking about Seth Rollins as your world heavyweight champion. And we got a referee that doesn't know how to count the 3. The man doesn't know how to count the 3. Both shoulders clearly down. 1, 2. No 3 count. My fucking microphone, my fucking god dang camera isn't working now.
The WWE is censoring you.
If they want to censor me, they got to wait for the Rock conversation in hour 3. 1, 2, no 3 count. Guys, you're the Hall of Famers. What the hell happened at one of your biggest pay-per-views of the year in a World Heavyweight Championship fucking match? Do we not get a 3 count when Damian Priest's shoulders were clearly down?
Dave, I think they're going to have to look into this, because maybe Spider, as we call him, Rod Zapata, maybe he's on the payroll. Maybe he's on the take. Maybe he's like Donahue, the NBA judge that was taking money from the mob people for gambling. Maybe Rod is in. He's in the bag. He owes money. He's on the take. Whatever you want to call it.
By who? By who would he be on the take from? Bully,
who's doing the most bullshit right now?
What happened there? Somebody needs to tell me what happened there.
Priest got knocked out. Priest got his bell rung. Priest forgot to kick. If you go back and watch, after Zapata does the 1, the 2, and then Priest doesn't kick out, I'm going to show you what happened, and maybe we'll release this video so the fans can go back and look. And so for everybody that's listening right now, I have my hand in the air. I have my palm face up the same way Damian Priest did. After Priest didn't kick out, go watch his fingers. He does this with his fingers. He starts to wiggle his fingers. It's a very unnatural movement in the ring, and whenever something goes wrong, I look for unnatural movement in a wrestler's body. Does a wrestler's body go stiff? Does it contort in a weird way? I looked at Priest's eyes, and he looked away, and there was nothing there. He was out. I don't know how he went out. That Seth knee, when Priest had Seth up for the vertical suplex, and Seth drove his knee into Priest's face, it could have caught him right in the frontal lobe of the head. It could have caught him on the side. You can't tell by the camera angle because they shot it with the hard camera. So you can't exactly see where the knee comes into contact with Drew's head. But I think Drew got knocked out for a quick second. Thus why he couldn't kick out. That's the only thing that makes logical sense to me. And that can happen at any given moment. I've been knocked out in a ring. I've knocked other people out in a ring. It happens. You just can't get around it. That's getting knocked out is not the problem. Not kicking out is not the problem because you've lost your motor functions. You've lost your motor skills for a second. There's nothing you can do. Your brain has shut off. However, the WWE that I come from, and things may have changed, is if a wrestler does not kick out, the referee's job is to count to 3.
Is to count to 3.
Because the referee is the smoke and the mirrors. Once the referee does not count to 3, the trick is exposed.
It don't take much. Maybe 10 pounds of pressure. About that much hitting the temple to knock somebody out. It's either that or the button. Like on the underside of your chin, if you hit somebody to where their jaw like slides, you can do like this. You can knock yourself out.
Dave, 10 times out of 10, Mark Henry is going to kick your ass in a street fight. But even you, Dave, if you were able to land the right shot on Mark Henry or myself on the button of the chin or in the temple,
good night.
We're going to go out.
Good night.
You can't stop it from happening. It's impossible. That's like in this slap fight thing. They have these rules about how you're allowed to hit each other. You smack a man right. Most of the time when I knock motherfuckers out, I smack them right in the jaw. I don't even punch you. I smack you in the jaw because this bear mitt that I have here is going to cover a lot more surface area than my fist. I swat you right upside your head and your jaw and bloop, bloop, eyes roll back into your head. Take care, brush your hair, talk to you later. Wake up in about a minute.
And you take a chance of breaking your fingers.
Correct.
When you hit somebody with a closed fist. Like, man, I don't never want to break my hand again.
So
it's awful.
So that's what probably happened. He got knocked out. If you go back and you look at his eyes, you can tell he's not there. He's got this faraway stare. He starts to wiggle his fingers. Maybe he got a stinger. Maybe that was the first thing that came back to him. I don't know, but that's unnatural movement in the ring. And then you see him roll out. Now, the referee not counting 3. So the referee obviously knows what the finish is and knows that's not the finish right in front of him. So he doesn't count to 3. But once you don't count to 3, you leave everybody in a very precarious and exposed position. However,
you see the magic trick.
However, the referee knows that if he does count to 3, whatever is going to happen after that has now been affected. It's a hard situation to be in. That's
why I asked, because it's easy to come on the air and it's easy to go on social media and start killing people. And listen, the sad part about it is that the business was exposed in that moment, because he was clearly down. Both his shoulders were clearly down. And, obviously it leaves everybody like with speculation. And
let me go back to something, Dave. I apologize. I need to connect dots here. I do not believe that they can go back now. Like Mark said, he's on the take maybe, or maybe somebody got to him. Or I don't believe they can go back storyline-wise now and come up with something, because Hunter already said what happened in the press conference. It was a mistake.